get to this video, can you guys please subscribe, like, and comment? I'm so excited for this journey, and I want you guys to see this journey with me. So go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is getting juicy.
What's up, YouTube? I'm Fitz, and I'm ready to talk. Hey, I am back with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 6, Rap Sheets and Old Beefs. I like that. That's pretty cool. That's actually a good one. I will say, Bravo is pretty clever with the titles. I'll give them that. You know, I know everybody has been talking about how this season has not been doing that well with ratings, but I've been enjoying it. It's been cool to me. I don't know what the hell's been going on. I mean, it has been past seasons that I was literally snoozing through. This season, actually, maybe because I'm reviewing it, that I'm actually enjoying it. But I don't know. That's neither here nor there, though. So let's get to the review. Bravo starts off with giving us a little montage of Candy's and Marlo's relationship. We all know how rocky it has been. It has been an up and down fight, right? Fucking roller coaster. Who doesn't have a roller coaster relationship with Marlo if we're 100? Who does not, other than Sheree? But we'll see. I feel like your turn is coming, ma'am. Your turn is coming. I'll just go ahead and break down their relationship history. Starts in 2011 and it gets current all the way to 2022. Of course, you know, they shoot this a year. We're seeing things from last year, right? So I'll just break down exactly what stood out to me from each scene from each year, right? So 2011, we see when I think it's when Marlo first kind of comes on the scene and as Nene's friend, right? And Candy kind of just says, gives a little background who she is to the neighborhood. She's supposedly a neighborhood, I shouldn't say neighborhood whore, but she's a whore, high price whore. Supposedly she has sugar daddy, or I should say she's a sugar baby. I shouldn't say a whore. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. A sugar baby. She had, from allegedly, Candy said that she used to have a sugar daddy, a rich sugar daddy. Okay, so that's from 2011. We jumped into, they went and fast forward all the way to 2016, and this is when Candy and Marlo was going back and forth, and she being Marlo, called Candy a lesbian. She asked her why she's a lesbian. That's when Candy did disclose she goes both ways. She has had sex with a woman, and she's you know, I don't know if her time was her time married by then. I'm sure 2016. Yeah, they probably married by then. So are definitely dating. So you know, she was and had a relationship, but she let it be known. Yes, I do. I swing both ways. I'm an equal employer, like I like to say. I love that. So that was 2016. We're gonna go ahead and move on to 2018. They jumped there, and then we saw when Candy and Marlo was on a high. They were good friends. Marlo was like, "I'm gonna be your personal stylist," and you know, although now looking back, it probably was a little shade because Candy used to not be the best dresser. She's gotten a lot better now, but back then she wasn't always the best. So now that they went back, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that probably was some shade from Marlo. We didn't catch it then. Although I will say the one thing about Marlo, you dress your ass off, ma'am. That's the one thing that nobody can take from you. You dress your ass off, whether it be stolen allegedly or borrowed allegedly. You dress your motherfucking ass off. Okay, I will say that. So then the next one we go into, the next year that we go into, we get a snippet of is in 2019, Marlo introduces Candy to her nephews. This is when Marlo is a friend of the show, definitely has, you know, implanted herself as a friend of the show. This is even after I think Nene already took a little hiatus already. So, you know, Marlo was still on the show by herself. She introduced to her nephews, and can I say, damn, them boys have grown up. It's so crazy to see flashbacks. I feel like that about all the Real Housewives. Atlanta, I used to watch LA, in New York, about their kids. Their kids grow up right in front of our eyes, and it's so crazy. You kind of forget that the rest of the world is getting older too, right? Until you see stuff like that, it's like, damn, okay, I am kind of getting kind of old, okay? Because that was 2019, so that's crazy. So 2020, we finally see the unseen footage. Now, the unseen footage is what I have already heard about. Now, y'all do know, I'm sure y'all can tell, I watch Candy's YouTube channel, Speak on It, which talks about, you know, things that happen on the show and stuff like that. So she did say that there was a time when Marlo did come over and help her pack up, what's that baby name? Riley. Jesus, Riley. Candy's daughter, Riley. So they actually have footage which was being taped by Bravo that they didn't use it, which is like kind of like, damn, it's crazy how things work out. Like now this is the whole big thing about Kandi not caring about Marlo's nephew. And you know, there was footage there. There's footage literally showing Kandi literally being, not necessarily getting emotional, but she definitely comforted Marlo. So the scene shows, this unseen footage shows, Marlo shows up to Kandi's house. Marlo makes a joke and says, "Oh, I'm in the main house. Let me take a minute to take it all in." You know, we know, judging by from 2011, they never had a rocky relationship. So, bitch, no, you're not coming to my main house. You can go to the guest house when you come and visit, if you're ever invited to visit. So Marlo makes a joke and says, you know, "Oh, let me take a moment. I'm in the guest house. You know, hey, Kandi Yam." That's what she calls her. They hug. They go upstairs or go wherever they, you know, go to get Riley situated, or to sit down and talk before they start getting her situated. So it looks like they're sitting like in the living room or something like that, or bonus room. And Kandi and Riley are both sitting there, and Marlo brings up her nephew. Then, and mind you, this is in 2020. So we're seeing literally Marlo literally talk about it in real time and says, you know, "Oh, you know, my nephew, you know, was killed, and you know, by his roommate," and we're seeing all this. Now, mind you, she's at Kandi's house. Now, fast forward, sorry y'all, I didn't miss in the beginning of the scene, before they showed the unseen footage, still in 2020, they showed the text message that happened between Kandi, which I already showed y'all last review. So what I'll do is I'll put it back on, I'll put it somewhere on the screen again, to where, you know, she discusses, she asks Kandi, "Do you have somebody named Quentin work at OLG?" Kandi says, "No, I'm not sure, let me check." Then Kandi comes, and then Marlo says, "Please do." Kandi comes back and says, "Ah, yes, he used to work there." Marlo then discloses that he was killed the last night, right? So that all situation. So Marlo gets going back into the scene. Marlo gets emotional. Kandi instantly gets up and embraces her. Kandi talks about how her brother passed when she was 15, how it made her numb, and this is her confessional. It was with that scene, but of course Bravo never aired it in 2020, right? But it was within that scene that Kandi does say, you know, her confessional says, "My brother passed." We all know Kandi's brother has passed, right? I know she was that young. She was only 15, and she became numb to death. I'm assuming she says numb, but she doesn't go on and say what she means. But I'm assuming to death, right? Like that made her numb. That made her, you know, hey, you're 15. That's a transition like a motherfucker. You know, your brother's here today and gone tomorrow. That's crazy as fuck. So she then says that, but she says, you know, "I can only imagine how Marlo feels. You know, this is her nephew. She has cousins that she helps." Melvin, the one crazy, they show a fucking shot of Melvin, in which it looks like that was a current shot, so they probably just edited in there now to show us who Kandi was probably referring to. And I think she has another cousin that she treats like a son. And she says, like, you know, her cousins, her little cousins are like her, you know, her kids. You know, she literally, you know, she loves them. You know, something happened, the world will be over. Y'all, I'm sorry if my dog is snoring. He's literally right here. So if y'all hear some snoring, it ain't me breathing, y'all. It's him. So just bear with me on that, okay? So back to it. So that happens. That does show that Kandi literally cares. Kandi was not this bitch that Marlo's trying to make her out to be, that did not give a fuck. Like, even in the scene, she brought it back up because Kandi, the text message already happened, clearly, because Marlo brought up the situation about, "I was telling you about my nephew that got killed." Putting stuff in perspective, right? It's showing us that something fucking wrong with Marlo, right? Something's wrong with her. On to the next scene. Okay, so we get into the scene where Marlo, this is actually like the first actual current scene, right? I mean, we did see the flashback from 2022 when we do see that, you know, Kandi and Marlo's having that whole big situation at the little performance that Drew had when they got into it kind of there. And then, you know, Marlo ended up blowing up on Drew, right? So then they're going to go into this episode, and they do show Marlo sit down with her friends. Her friends' names are Ty and Justin. They sit down and they start talking about, you know, Marlo having a man. Marlo is like, she ain't ready for it. She doesn't know how, you know, whatever man comes to her life, he needs to make sure that he's able to balance it, because she has become the Monty that she is with her nephews, and literally they take up all her time. So she needs somebody that will be able to balance that and inevitably handle it. So that's great. That's good to hear that, you know, she is thinking about her nephews, and pretty much even in her romantic life, right? That's great. And then they, they stare and joke about that. They talk about, one of her friends said, Ty said that she created a flyer for Marlo to find a man, trying to help her find a man or whatever. Marlo's like, you better not, I don't know how to act. I feel like Marlo is, clearly you ain't too shy with men. Not, if the rumors are true. So the fact she's trying to act so bashful and shy, gotta get it. And would just hit me too. Okay, so here, I was gonna say this, but okay. Marlo's a fucking Aquarius. Marlo shared this later on in the episode. I'm an Aquarius. And I was like, how the fuck is she Aquarius? Like, girl, you are completely and she's very close. Her birthday's the 7th and mine's the 4th. So like literally, we are very close to each other. And I'm like, we're nothing alike. Like that girl, bitch, you are a fucking cuckoo bird. But in that moment, we can be freaks in the sheets. But in the public, so I love that. I love it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got that. Now that just dawned on me. Okay, you might be Aquarius, but bitch, you little wacko. You on the edge of being kicked out of the group, right? So anyway, they start talking about her daily life, whatever. They go ahead and joke it off, bypass that, and then Candy comes up. She does explain that she goes to the conversation with her and Drew. What happened with her and Drew when she was like, "My nephew died, bitch," and when she blew up in Drew's face, and Drew was like, so that does, they do share, she shares that with them, and then she lets them know like, oh, supposedly she felt like Drew was too afraid to say shooting because Candy is acts like a mafia of Atlanta. Like, she's like, come on, girl, like, okay, because then they rewinded. She says that, oh, Candy looked at her like, bitch, you better not say nothing, you will be annihilated. And Candy literally was like, what? Like, Candy, her face wasn't even looking like threatening towards Drew. It was just like, okay, like, spit it out, whatever you're trying to say. And that's when Marlo said shooting, and then Kenny's like, well, bitch, let's talk about you slashing. Because Kenny already caught. She was able to catch her own, like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, right? So Candy automatically pounced on Marlo because she knew Marlo was trying to be messy and connect her nephew's shooting and death to the shooting that happened with Kenny's cousin, and which have nothing to do with each other, right? So Candy already was hip on that. So she says over her friend Ty then says, oh yeah, Candy, if he worked at OG, Candy should have sent a card or flowers. He wasn't working there when he was killed. And Candy literally didn't even know his name. Like, how do you guys think that somebody that has businesses, she's supposed to know every employee's name? And Marlo's like, yeah, they have pictures of, at the Christmas parties. She probably takes pictures with every employee. She puts on the Christmas party. She sponsors the motherfucker. Of course she's going to take a picture. She probably had contact with him, but does not know she knows who he exactly is. So, come on, like, it is what it is. For instance, when I have my Christmas party, my CEO's there. So that is just what it is. When you have, like, I don't want to, it's not necessarily mom and pops, but when you have somebody that cares about their business, they should be there. As long as it's not like a big ass, like Apple. You don't expect for fucking the CEO of Apple to come to the fucking Christmas party for each, area. But I'm sure he goes to wherever his main base is at, you know what I'm saying? So it is like, come on, like, what the fuck? How are you guys trying to put this on Candy and make Candy a bad guy because she literally did not send flowers or cards? She did say sorry, she felt bad about what happened, but I mean, was she supposed to do that? I don't think that is a thing that happens. Like, it would be a nice gesture, but it's something it doesn't have to happen, right? So that scene closes out, and then we go into the next scene. All right, so we go ahead and go into the scene at Sanya's house. Sanya, whoever the hell. Sanya. Y'all know, Olympic winner. So we go into her house, and we see her mom and her sister. They're sitting there in the kitchen. They do a lot of scenes in the kitchen, which I love that, because as black people, we love eating. So I love that like most of her scenes, if you pay attention, has been centered around the damn kitchen with her family. So I love that. But they're sitting there talking about, she brings up the whole situation with Ross and how Ross feels like he kind of is ready to just be them, just ready for her son, herself and him, or their son, shall I say, and y'all get it, them and their kid, right? And kids they're trying to work on, right? So she says, she felt like, she asked her sister, like, it seemed like you were offended from, when I brought it up that Ross had said that he was ready for it just to be us. And the sister was like, I was kind of confused. Like, us being here benefits you guys, right? Like you guys are able to go. For instance, she's fucking gone. Excuse me, he's fucking gone. Ross is fucking gone. Ross isn't out there working. We ain't seen Ross on the show in person in a few episodes. So Ross is out there doing his thing, and Sonya, yeah, she's there, but she's clearly working too. So who's gonna be there watching the kids? And that's what Sonya did admit and say, well, we do have like a live-in nanny. I don't think he understands how much, help they do actually provide us. And the sister pretty much was like, yeah, like, we help you guys a lot, tremendously. Now, I will say this, if y'all ain't paying rent or whatever the fuck, I hope that y'all are, which I'm sure they probably are, but I hope they're contributing just as much, right? Y'all have a family. If this is going around equally, and we also are watching y'all kids, then I need to be compensated in some way. So you need to be paying me to do that, or something. You know what I'm saying? I understand you, auntie, whatever the fuck, auntie, uncle, watching, Sonya's kids, but we still need something. I don't give a fuck. Now, if it's something now, every now and then, my sister does. Hopefully, I'll become an uncle. I can literally pick and choose. Now, if we live together, you choosing to leave your baby with me, like I'm supposed to be a daycare, then I need to be compensated in some type of way, whether we don't split certain bills a certain way, whatever the fuck. So I just wanted to put that in there. Like, if they're paying things equally, she needs to be compensated. And the sister pretty much was like, when we leave, it's gonna be a gaping hole. Like, y'all will see how much we mean to you guys. What they say, you won't miss the water to the well run dry. It's that kind of that situation, And Sonya's kind of like, she understands. She completely kind of agrees with her sister. And then her sister, just like, we live it anyway. So it don't matter, regardless now, if you try to talk to Ross about it, we still gonna go. And then Sonya kind of gets in her feelings about it. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna, there's no reason, no need for me to try to convince. Like, I'm not gonna convince you guys. You guys should kind of want to stay. And her sister's like, no, you guys, we are helping you. So if you don't convince us, we out. Like, pretty much like if you convince the mom, it's kind of like, yeah, your dad wants to stay, but I'm ready to go live my life. And I understand that mom probably is like, I raised my kids. These are my grandkids. I would like to have a choice. Like I was saying earlier on, uncles, aunties, grandma, parents, there's a choice. There's not obligation. So I think that's what the grandma's like. The dad likes being there, grandma like being here, but grandma ready to go get her groove back. She ready to go and enjoy her life. You know what I'm saying? So that I thought that was an interesting scene. Like I said, last review is kind of, it's weird to see how Sonya's scenes, from each season, it seems like everybody, somehow, one person has an issue, like her family want to stay, and then Ross has an issue, but then another season, Ross will understand and want them to stay, then the family has an issue. Like, it's like, which one is it? Who wants who to go? This season, Ross wants them to go, and the family is now like, okay, you win, we'll leave. So that's what's like, that's where they're at. And of course, Sonya wants them to stay. So that's where we're at. So the next scene, so we're going to go into seeing Kenya. We finally seen the chocolate Barbie with her pretty damn self. God damn, she's gorgeous. So they, Kenya actually is looking for a space for Kenya Moore Hair Care Salon, which is cool. I want to just do that, y'all. It just made me want to dance. Weird. It's not a dance, like a little old man, little rock. But Kenya Moore Hair Care Salon. And she's sitting there with her friend, Akila. We met her last time. Remember, we saw her in Brooklyn and Akila's daughter, hanging out, right? So this scene, we do see Kenya, showing off the space. Space is like, it's going to be nice. It seems like it's a lot of square footage. She kind of just says, like, she wants to be amazing. She was talking about lighting. She's talking about fucking valet parking. Just sickening, right? She's like, she wants her guests or her clients to feel like they have arrived in heaven. And I'm like, I'm all here for it. It's nothing like a great ambiance. Like, I love a good ambiance. The damn nail shop that I go to has a great ambiance like that. Like, it's like to where you walk in, you instantly feel relaxed. They got chandeliers and fucking amazing big ass couches and seats, you know what I'm saying? Fucking serve you champagne, whatever you like to drink, they can bring it to you. It's such a good vibe, right? It makes you relax. So I love that she is thinking about the client in that moment. It's very important to do so. So, she's in there, she's just like, yeah, she would like, for it to be that type of experience. Then she goes ahead and starts talking about her little boo thing, Roy. Y'all know, I'll put the picture somewhere. Roy, and she pretty much just says, it's long distance. It's hard to date when somebody's long distance, to actually like take it serious. She says how she, after 7 months, dated, married her ex, what's that nigga name? I think his name Matt, but that fuck. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the asshole. She, married him in 7 months, and literally, you know, kind of like, look what it got me, you know what I'm saying? So she would like to kind of, I guess she's saying like she would like to kind of date, you know, somebody local. Like if she's gonna take it serious, she's ready to get to the next step. There's no way really to, you know, get married with someone that's long distance, right? She won't make that mistake again, pretty much. That's what I kind of gather from it, right? So then, of course, they go ahead and talk about, they go on the subject of Marlo. She tells her friend about how Marlo, you know, has acted, you know, with the group, and she shares, you know, the whole situation about, you know, her and Drew. Then she goes to Marlo Pass, which I'm kind of like, I understand the tea spilling, and I feel like Kenya probably trying to drive it home because at this point she sees what Marlo's trying to do. So, bitch, you trying to get my friend together, I'm gonna get you together. And I can respect that. I can respect that you have your friend back, you know what I'm saying, at all times, whether present or not. So I feel like that's why she brought up the whole face slasher thing and, you know, spilled the tea on Marlo, and the friend was like, damn, I wasn't ready for all that. So, you know, that was a cute little scene. You know, her friend just kind of like, okay, well, let's go ahead and go to the next topic because, bitch, we on camera. So let's go next. I won't say too much now. Off camera, we can go and spill this tea, but on camera, I'm just going to be like, okay, that's a lot. So we go ahead and jump into the next scene. We jump into Sheree's house. This was such a nice scene. Like, literally, when I was watching it, I got a little emotional, y'all. I don't know what the fuck. Me and my partner both did, but, you know, we had a loss in the family. So I think that's kind of why we kind of got a little emotional about it. Just seeing a young father care about his child, and especially a young black father, because we know representation is very far and few when it comes to black fathers, which is unfortunate because that's not the truth. There are some black men out there that is actually taking care of business. But we're seeing Cairo, you know, be hands-on with his child. Sheree just kind of says how proud she is. They try to do like a little hand imprint ornament with the child. The baby's asleep. The baby's name is, don't give me the line, y'all. I gotta look at my notes because I have the damn baby name. Where is the baby's name? The baby name is Mecca. She's so adorable, so cute. The baby's mother, which I didn't get her name, sorry y'all. She's kind of just says, you know, how great Cairo has been. You know, Sheree shares like she didn't have that when her babies, you know, somebody that actually cared and would help and would get up. Sheree was describing how he gets up in the middle of the night, change diapers, feeds, whatever the baby needs, Cairo's there to do it. So I love that. You know, she goes to the story about how, you know, she found out pretty much Cairo was just kind of just shocked and just walked in and told her, hey, I'm expecting a child. And supposedly the baby mom was already 4 months. So Sheree said how she didn't have much time to prepare for the baby. It was just cute. The baby calls her, or the baby will call her Gigi, because the baby's little, so they ain't call her shit. But the baby will call her Gigi. It stands for glamorous grandma. So I thought that was so adorable. You can see how happy Sheree is, right? Sheree is very, very proud of her son and proud of the man that she has raised, and she should be. He seems like he's a great young man. They did the show flashback of Cairo, and I'm like, damn, I feel old again. Like, that shit crazy. Like, that shit is crazy how time just keeps ticking. Crazy, y'all. Next scene, we go ahead and we jump into Drew's home. We see her sons practicing with their coach. They're practicing basketball. Pretty cool. I was like, okay, I like that. That's cool. That's keep them busy, y'all. Keep them busy. Keep them active. You know, you never know. You know, maybe next NBA star. So Drew comes up and asks the coach a couple questions like, what do they need help with? He says footwork, and he says, what's footwork and running? I think he says something like that. Footwork and moving or some shit like that. Well, footwork is moving, but maybe running or something he said. Then he was two things. I know that. So I thought that was cool, and you know, and you know, he was like, they can be great. You know, as long as you keep paying me, they will be great. Then we see Ralph come out, and her and Ralph kind of chat, and she tells Ralph what happened with Marlo, how Marlo got to her face, how it was a big blow up over, you know, her not wanting to use the word shooting, you know, when describing or asking Candy about what happened at her restaurant, and how Marlo just kind of just attacked her, which they're using this attack shit very, very loosely. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Like, I'm all, you know, I don't like Marlo. Y'all, I'm sure y'all can tell by my reviews, right? Marlo's not my favoriteest person. But let's call a thing a thing. That was not necessarily an attack. Now, was she aggressive? Definitely. In that moment. That's aggression, but it wasn't an attack. But so, you know, Drew says, oh, we don't use shooting because I'm from Chicago. Now, your husband didn't get that memo because that's the first thing he said, shooting. And he just kind of like, and she was like, oh, we don't use that or whatever. And then she goes in and say, you know, she bring out Chicago on me, you know, pretty much like she got hands. I'm like, girl, doubt it. And then she tells Ralph, oh, you never seen me fight. that speaks volume. Like, if your mate has never had a chance to see you get in action, my mate has never necessarily seen me get in, well, not physically hit somebody, but he has seen me turn the fuck up to where I blacked out with the point to where I had to be grabbed and walked away, So if you had no, you know what I'm saying, if you're not with it, don't act like you with it. So that's the thing. I'm like, girl, okay, Chi-Town. Next scene, we jump into Candy's home. We see her and Candy. We see her and Todd sit down, and Todd's working on a script. He's all excited about his movie, his producing of a movie debut, because I don't think they have done that. Well, he actually has written the actual script, because it seems like a big deal. So I'm just gonna go with that this will be his first, right? So he seems very, very excited. They're talking, whatever, and then Candy shares with Todd about event that Courtney's having. I guess she's having an escape room event, but this escape room event is just not like no other escape room event or any other escape room event. It's a painting bomb, so you get splattered with paint. So I've never been in one of those. I've been to the escape room before. I don't like shit like that. I don't like feeling trapped. It just does something to me, y'all. So I told y'all about my drowning story. So anything claustrophobic, I don't do too well with that type of shit. So I don't freaking those very often. But Candy then calls Kenya, and I guess Kenya had a birthday party for Brooklyn. Candy wasn't able to make it because Candy had other obligations. I'm assuming prior to shooting. So, she kind of just, FaceTimes her, and she did send the kids. I guess, Blaze and Ace is there, which is dope. So they're there at like a swimming pool. So they were like swimming, whatever. So, Kenya gets on, and Kenya looks like freaking the Little Mermaid. So maybe it's a Little Mermaid thing, but she has the red hair. And I just kind of was like, okay. It looked like purple eyeliner or whatever the fuck. So looked like she was Little Mermaid, or supposed to be Little Mermaid. So she just, they discuss. Kenya just spills the beans on the conversation she had with Drew and Sheree at the little vitamin thing. Y'all remember the IV situation, and kind of how Drew shared with her that Marlo is pretty much trying to blame the damn shooting on Candy and saying she's insensitive and all this shit. Candy is just like, no. Like, Candy's like, first of all, that is not the case. I'm not being sensitive. The situation that happened had nothing to do with me, But what I could respect about Kenya is that Kenya literally, same situation, having her friend fucking back, y'all. And I'm loving that, because we don't really see, like, this is like the first time that I can recall really seeing like a deliberate, like, let me give you heads up, bitch. This is what you about to walk into. And I appreciate that, because I know from what I understand with reality TV, the producers don't like when people do that, right? They kind of want the reaction for somebody without any type of interference. But I appreciate the fact that, bitch, if you know something, you my true friend, because Kenya and Candy are true friends behind closed doors. So we did see Candy's birthday, and Kenya surprised her, was on a plane as well with Marietta and all the rest of her friends. So they truly are friends outside of that shit, right? Outside of this show. I appreciate that. I love somebody that actually can be authentic, right? Like, it's showing that reality TV can be authentic. So I love that. So she pretty much just tells her, like, hey, I got your back. If anything pop off, I got your back. So that happens. She hangs up the phone. Of course, she talks to Ty, and she's like, this is bullshit. She's trying to start some shit. And Ty's like, Marlo be on some bullshit, right? Like, off the top, So that scene happens, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the next scene. So we get to Courtney's event. Courtney and Drew are there together. They kind of just have little chit chats. She just expresses how she feels about Marlo. Marlo getting her face. She feels type of way about that situation, as she should. And then Marlo, of course, walks in. Drew is throwing shade. Marlo says, hello, Drew. Drew acts like she doesn't hear her. And Marlo says, hello, Drew. And Drew says, so, we see that. We see all the rest of the ladies show up. We see Kenya show up. We see Marietta shows up. We see Sheree shows up. And they're all in good spirits. They're all high-five and laughing, having a good time. I guess they're just in there, drinking, probably waiting until it's time to go into the actual escape room. They're just having a good time, chatting. And then Candy walks in. And I will say, very much so, Candy, I guess she's a tourist. Candy literally came in with her fucking game face on. Everybody says hellos to her, and she's like, hi. Hello. How you doing? Somebody says, how you doing? She goes, okay. Like, it's like, and that's I feel her because it's hard. I have my best friend actually is that way. Like, she cannot hide the way she feels. You're going to know. But the thing about it, I will say I respect about Candy is that Candy instantly was like, okay, I'm not going to play this fucking game. Marlo, let's go talk. Because my mood won't change until we actually talk. She didn't sit there and just be nasty. She didn't sit there and just act like, everything was fine. She literally was like, no, if I can't be cordial with you, I need to address this situation. And I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that she did do that. So Marlo instantly says, oh, well, yeah, let's do, us and Drew and we can go talk. Which I'm like, why are you inviting Drew? You brought Drew into this shit. Like, what? Whatever. So Drew comes. They go into the corner somewhere. And, they start chit-chatting. Candy gets straight to the point. Candy is just literally like, so what's the situation I'm hearing about, your cousin, you trying to involve me, your cousin being killed, unfortunately, and you trying to, involve me. That has nothing to do with me. Marlo goes on this long fucking rampage. She starts talking about what exactly happened with her and Drew, why she, snapped. She realized she didn't snap. She didn't know why she snapped. She know there was emotions was there, but they came up when they were talking about the shooting that happened at OLG involving Candy's cousin. And then she says, Candy, you act like you didn't care. Like you don't care about, my cousin or about my nephew. And Candy's like, what? Candy's like, how? Like, how? Like, how does that happen? Like, she's like, she's lost. She's like, well, how? Like, what the fuck? He did not work for me, because she tried to correlate, oh, well, he worked for you, and the person that shot him worked for you, or not worked. She said, the person that shot him, he met there, is what she said. Is what she said then. And it's like, and Kenny's like, what does that got to do with me? And I'm like, the same thing, I'm on TV, looking at TV like, bitch, okay, you sound stupid. Like, what does that have anything to do with Candy? I'm sure she's had thousands and thousands of people freaking that restaurant. She's supposed to know every single person. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she's had hundreds and hundreds of people that have freaking that restaurant that unfortunately passed. She's supposed to know every single one knows. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, that's not the way it works. I understand that was a former employee, but just that former employee. Candy says he used to work for me. That she tells Marlo. Marlo says in her confession, oh, he worked for, the only reason why he stopped working for her was after COVID. I'm gonna go ahead and put in speak on it what I heard from Candy, the horse's mouth. I'll speak on it. I'm just gonna say it. The timeline that Candy broke down and said. Candy said, indeed, Marlo did reach out. Candy did reach out to Don Juan and say, hey, Quentin, whatever his last name, did he work there? Don Juan confirmed it, and Don Juan gave her the dates. So the dates were, he worked there, COVID happened, and he came back. And then after that, he left. So it's not like he just COVID is when he stopped working there. No. It wasn't COVID. They reopened back and he came back to work, and then whatever happened then happened. Whether he was fired, whether he was let go, whether he just quit and found another job. The point of the matter is that he did not just stop at COVID. COVID had nothing to do with him stopping working at OLG. He still was there. So that shit is just like, what the fuck? That may make some people, y'all let me know below, say, oh, well, what the fuck? Like, you should know the fact that he was around so much. You should know, who he was. And I don't think Kenny's saying that she didn't necessarily know who he was or know of him, but she didn't have any contact with him. But I just hate that, Marlo keeps trying to add on shit. Oh, he worked at OG, he stopped working there because of COVID. Oh, the person that shot him was the first I've heard, she's trying to say, oh, he worked at OG. Now it's, oh, he was an actual patron at OG. Like, bitch, what story? What is it? What's it? Like, you keep driving this circle. That's like, you're a crazy bitch. And you making us look bad. Like, you making us look bad. One thing I do stand myself on, I have a bad memory like a motherfucker. I'll be the first one to say that. My memory is bad, but I'm not going hard in pain unless I know some shit to be true. I'm not gonna sing it because I know myself. I already know, like, my memory is bad. So, bitch, if I'm not 100% sure, I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, no, that's the way it happened. No, bitch. You need to make sure you know for a fact that this is the situation. You should have made sure you know, because you start getting holes in your story, right? Like, when you start getting holes, it's like once I find a hole or a crack or whatever, I'm not gonna believe you. So it's like, Marlo needs to work on that. Like, you keep on shaping your story. So back to their little discussion back and forth. They're going, starting to get heated. We know Candy, Candy, I drag you in this bitch. Y'all already know. Y'all already know Candy will pop. So she's trying to hold herself back. You know what I'm saying? Here comes Manetta. She comes to try to, like, touch her, and she says, don't touch me. Like, Don't. So I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, we about to see Candy pop. More and more Marlo. Marlo's getting more and more nasty with it. More and more nasty with it. And Candy's just like, I'm trying to get you to understand that this has nothing to do with me. You're trying to correlate something that has absolutely nothing to do with me and add it connected to my business. And we already know how Candy feels about her businesses. Like, she does not play about that shit. And who would? You know, she's worked hard. Don't try to make my business look bad. It's already worse enough that I had a shooting take place in my business. Thank God it didn't fuck up my money. But please don't try to add this situation that has nothing to do with this. Like, now I have to defend. Now I gotta be on defense because this is my livelihood. Regardless of how much money people make, a business is still money that comes in, and also if it shuts the fuck down, that's money that's going out. So at the same time, I understand Candy being so fucking defensive. You know what I'm saying? So Marlo is still going yap yap yap. Here come Kenya. Kenya's like, okay. Kenya's like, she grabs, because you start seeing necks, you know. Marlo starting to do her neck, Candy start doing her neck, and here comes Kenya's like, come on, and Candy's like, don't touch me, don't grab me. I can relate. Don't grab me. I hate being grabbed. It really does bother me. Like I said, the story I just told y'all before about my, me having to be grabbed. I literally, it makes me almost want to fight the person that's grabbing me. But you realize you can't fight. You guys just go calm down, because I feel like when somebody's grabbing you, they're saying it's not worth it. So that's what I feel like Kenya was trying to get Candy to see. It's not fucking worth it. Come on. So Candy does eventually go down, and Marlo goes, wait, and Candy's like, I'm only crying because I want to choke your ass. You all know Candy is a crier, but she's like, I want to choke your ass. I used to be like that too. When I used to get mad, I used to cry. I used to like, so I get this. I'm like, you sure that it ain't switch with the signs? Like, Candy ain't no Aquarius and you a Taurus, bitch? Because I don't know much about Tauruses. You motherfucker, she's something else. Marlo's something else. So we have the girls split up. We have Candy, Kenya, Mayetta, and Drew outside, and we have Marlo, Sheree, and Courtney inside. Oh, and Sonya inside. So, this is where Candy and Kenya is just getting Marlo fucking together. Of course, not in our presence, but I mean, it's not even of course, because they don't give a fuck. Those two, Candy already said, you slash girl face at the, episode at the event that Drew sung at. So we know that she could say whatever she's saying outside in her presence. So I don't want to seem like, oh, they said it in without her presence. Like, no, they would. I'm sure it was like cut out while her and Marlo was going back and forth. But Drew then goes on about to Kenya and Candy and Mayetta about her being attacked. And I'm like, please stop fucking saying that shit. You weren't attacked, girl. Yeah. Now, was she wrong? Was she aggressive? Fuck yeah. But attacked? That wasn't attacked. That's not attacked. For me, I understand that. I feel like aggression is more of it could be worrying or somebody physically being a little more physical with you. But attacking makes me feel like you've been touched. I could be wrong. Like somebody has actually physically done something to you. To me, that's how I kind of think about the two. Like somebody can be aggressive in both ways, but when you are attacked, you need to be actually physically touched. That's my opinion of the two different contrasts of the words, right? So she said she was attacked. Of course, during that time before they separated the ladies, Drew was saying, oh, she's being aggressive. Oh, she's being aggressive. So then inside we do see Sonya tells Marlo and the girls over there that, Drew was saying aggressive, but Marlo's hands was behind her back, so how she being aggressive? Like I just said, to my opinion, you can be aggressive with words. You don't necessarily have to be physical to be aggressive. That would be an attack. Now, that's my opinion, y'all let me know what y'all think below, because that's my opinion of the two different type of words and how they actually fit in to somebody's behavior, right? So, of course, here we go. Fucking Marlo playing the fucking victim. Oh, they bring up my past every time. Blah, blah, blah. But Candy's not being held responsible. What the fuck is she being held responsible for? That's what I'm like. I just would like to ask her, Marlo, what do you feel like that she needs to be held responsible for? Because she didn't send you flowers? Because she didn't send you a card? That's not her. It would be a nice gesture, but nobody has to do anything, honey. Like, what the fuck? I saw somebody on Twitter say that Marlo's mad because Candy didn't pay for the funeral. I laughed because honestly, that's the way she's acting. Like, Candy was supposed to be the one that came out of pocket for her nephew, and it's like, No, baby, that's not the way it works. Like, or she said she's gonna do something, she didn't do it. Like, I can see you being in your feelings about shit like that, but the fact that your nephew, RIP, worked at her restaurant, no longer worked at her restaurant, and got killed by his roommate that has no connection to the restaurant. How are you upset about that? How are you upset because she literally, we saw on camera she embraced you, and text messages we saw that she literally said, "Oh, damn, I'm sorry to hear that." So what else do you want this lady to do? To me, like I said in my past reviews, I feel like Marlo is just reaching for something, because her storyline would be dry. Because what it would be about her nephews again, we already seen that. So I feel like she's just reaching. And, you know, we do see partially of now that she has, you know, a therapy or whatever, therapist or whatever, life counselor, whatever the fuck that lady is. Like, that would be boring alone. So now she just feels like she needs to just grab at shit, and she's choosing to grab at fucking Candy. So, like I said, good luck, Sheree. Sheree, if you stay on the show, I'm sure you're next, baby. Like, especially Candy leaves. If Candy leaves, it's her last season, you'll be shocked. You're gonna see a switch in her, because we've seen her do that. We've seen Marlo do it with Nene. Did we not? So that's the thing. Like, we know that she's capable of biting the hands that feed her. And Sheree, you stingy. You broke, or almost. I don't mean broke. Sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to say broke. But, you know, she bought Sheree to take almost a decade to come out. So we know that you tight with your coins. So you haven't fed her. So we'll see what happens in that friendship. But all right, y'all. That's all I got. The free mention episode just stops there. We do see clips of the next episode, and we'll get to that when we get to it. I just wanted to give a shout out to Michelle. Thank you so much. She is literally like the first person that always comments on my videos. I really appreciate it. You don't even know how much I appreciate it. She has given me advice. I'm willing to take anybody's advice, as long as you're nice with it. Don't be no asshole, because you will get blocked. I don't give a fuck if I only have 105 subscribers. This, like I said, this is more for my entertainment. I enjoy, you know, getting people's comments and being able to share my opinion of things. So I do appreciate it, Michelle. Shout out to you. I just want to make sure I did put that in there, because you have been great. You always are right on top of it. So all right, y'all. I'm out of here.